Ian, how dare we not bring up the Game Boy 30th anniversary?
Well, we're in between its birthdays.
In between, did we mention it last? Oh, no, we didn't mention it, but did it happen right after the podcast last week?
Oh yeah, so it was it was July 31st.
Okay.
July 31st was the 30th birthday.
So it was right after
of the Game Boy. It was right after our last episode.
In North America.
And I can't believe that.
Was it?
Yeah. July 31st in North America, April 21st in Japan.
Okay. We're going by North America.
Invented by Gunpei Yokoi, the Game Boy is the not the first portable system with interchangeable cartridges, but certainly the most popular.
Watch the video game years for that Microvision that we all love.
Yes. It went on to spawn, numerous follow-ups for Nintendo: the Game Boy Pocket, the Play It Loud series, the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advance SP, the Game Boy Advance, the regular one. But it all started with this: a black and white monochrome screen,
green and white,
8 kilobytes of internal video RAM. Are
you just on the Wikipedia looking at the specs?
I am right now. Yeah, 256 bytes. The sound chip is one of the things that it's notable for, but.
Because remember, this is 6 years after the Famicom came out, so this is a lot more advanced sound.
Yes, it is. But it rocketed to popularity in the U.S. with the pack-in game Tetris.
Sure.
Everyone knew how to play Tetris. I think that's where a lot of people cut their teeth on it. If it wasn't, various download computer versions, it wasn't uncommon to see, a middle-aged person playing Tetris. I remember sitting in a doctor's office, and the first time I ever played a Game Boy there was actually like a 45-year-old or a 50-year-old sitting next to us and asked if I wanted to play Tetris on the Game Boy, and I remember holding it for the first time.
Ian's little chubby fingers.
And I was nervous to use it. I remember I was nervous to use it, and I died very quickly. Lost very quickly in Tetris. So it launched with 5 games in the U.S. 5, yes. Super Mario Land, Alleyway, Baseball, Tetris, and Tennis.
Have I ever played that tennis game? I don't think I ever played that tennis game.
It's fun. I like it.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, most tennis games are pretty fun.
Nintendo doesn't screw up tennis games, seems like.
No, they don't.
They do a fun tennis game.
Mario Tennis.
Super Tennis, original NES, Black Box Tennis is fine.
Super Tennis was really good.
It's really good. It's 4 stars according to a certain Super Nintendo guidebook.
Yeah?
I think so. I have to check.
That's good. One of the things that I think made the Game Boy as popular as it was, despite the fact that color handhelds would come out in the Lynx and the Game Gear.
The Lynx came out a month later.
Right. The name recognition. The fact that Nintendo had already become a household name, and they were porting versions of those games to the Game Boy. So people, I think, were willing to put up with, slightly inferior technology, because at the time they didn't really know what they were looking for anyways. There wasn't a whole lot of precedent behind these handheld game systems.
Yeah, because there hadn't been a handheld really on the market of this caliber. Microvision was of that caliber, but you know what I'm saying? So you had the Tiger LCDs, you had, the little blips, the little, little things like that, but that's not this. These are complete video games.
You get Tetris, you get Super Mario Land, there was Castlevanias, they did a Zelda. They kept it going by actually paying attention to it, taking it seriously, and doing good versions of their big name games on their normal system.
You didn't mention Yakuman in Japan.
Oh, I was just mentioning the US.
I
was just mentioning the US ones. I know. I have that. It's pretty good.
Oh, Tennis was a port of the NES game? Was that right? I've never played
Not
Game Boy.
Exactly.
Game Boy Tennis. Let me look up some gameplay of that.
But
they basically, I mean, they didn't create the market for they kind of did.
Yes.
The market had been dead for 8-9 years if you count the Microvision. They did kind of create the market, the handheld market.
Yeah, with the Game & because you go back to the Game & Watches prior, which were Gunpei Yokoi.
And they were still making Game & Watch when the Game Boy was out.
Yeah.
They were still going. They were cycling them out, but
I think Nintendo, at least they definitely made the handheld market something that people took seriously. People bought, the little LCD poker games and the Tiger ones as an amusement, but I don't think anyone ever looked at them and thought of them as a true replacement for playing a video game.
Oh, this is a spiritual successor of the NES game, though. Tennis. You still have Mario there. The swings look kind of similar. Obviously, it's a better game probably. Look at them changing sides. It's adorable.
Mm-hmm. It's a good game.
Oh, what I remember about the Game Boy, I remember, of course, Kevin had it.
Oh,
and I didn't.
Kevin. My Kevin never had one. It was one of the few things I had over Kevin.
Kevin had it, and he had Super Mario Land. Wouldn't let me play it. I think we let me play Tetris every now and then. And I don't think he had the link. I don't remember. I don't remember seeing people link it up to players. I remember it happened a couple of times. I remember like my cousin used to get everything and got the 4-player with what the hell's the racing game? That came with the 4-player.
F1 race.
Yeah, F1 race, and we played it. Tried it maybe once with like 3 people at like one of the cousins' parties, whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was cool to do that, but that was a novelty. No one really used that 4-player adapter.
No,
I don't know how many games.
Faceball 2000.
Have a nice day. Yeah. But Nintendo created a new market. I'm looking at the stats. I'm surprised. I thought the Play It Loud came out sooner than 95. So it took 6 years for the Play It Loud different cases to come out, which at the time
For real? Holy moly.
I thought it was like maybe 93. So it was not until 95. And then they did the Play It Loud with different cases, like the transparent one, the blue one. There was like 6 or 7 different ones. Red,
clear,
green,
black, green, black, yellow.
Red. And then I was like, this is bullshit. Why isn't it black and white? I said that. 15-year-old Pat said that. So then next year they came out with the Game Boy Pocket, which I would have bought if it came out years before, because by then I thought the Game Boy was sort of on its last legs, and that's right before when the Color came out. Right when did the Color come out? Color came out in 97?
I think it's 96 or 97.
When did Game Boy Color come out? So, but this was also the start of Nintendo saying, "Oh, let's just keep recycling our handheld console in different ways." They figured out. Oh, it was 98 Game Boy Color.
Wow.
98, Ian. And the lifespan of that one was 6 years, but the original Game Boy's lifespan was 14 years.
It's insane.
89 to 2003.
It's a beautiful thing.
That's only like that, and I think the PS2 might have went that long. I think the PS2 was about 13, 14 years.
There was,
I believe,
Atari was 77, and there were still games released in 89. So
that's 12 years.
12.
We're just looking at games released, not producing it. What was the PS2? But anyway, that's impressive. That's incredibly impressive. By that point, it might have been just Japan doing the black and white games. I don't know. Unless they're counting it. Oh, they might have been counting as they might be throwing in Game Boy Color with Game Boy on here. Oh, then that doesn't count. Then that's a different console.
Oh yeah, if you mean total lifespan, yes,
that doesn't count. But if you want to look at Game Boy games, I'll look it up. Game Boy games, it has to be at least to like 99, 2000. I would think it has to be 10, 11 years.
Yeah, it was a long time.
It was about 600 games for black and white, not counting the color ones. Listed the original Game Boy games. When's the last one that came out? Probably was Japan. Let's see. 98, they're still making it. 98. 99 was their 2001. 2000, Pokemon Yellow Special Pikachu Edition. Okay. And then some games in Japanese I can't say. So 2000, looks like 2000 was the last year. A handful. So
okay,
so like 89 to 2000, like 11, 12 years. That's impressive.
Still nuts.
It's impressive.
And people were probably playing it more still than people were playing Atari games in 89. So
1,049 games released across regions. That might make it a little more difficult for a certain Game Boy guidebook. Definitely can't include Color. Color was about 500 or 600. I think I got them backwards. Yeah, Color was about 500 or 600. And then this was they're different systems technically anyway. And yet there were a few. There was like a few dozen backwards compatible Game Boy Color that worked on Game Boy.
There's the black ones. The black carts would work on a black and white, but they had a full color palette on the color.
Yeah, they were basically backwards compatible. So would you count that in the Game Boy library or Game Boy Color? You would.
Yeah, if you can play them on the Game Boy, I would call it.
They show up in black and white.
Yeah.
And then they had some that were special features for the Super Game Boy.
Yes.
That was those as well.
Yeah, there were. Those weren't even black cartridges necessarily. They were just like the Donkey Kong 94.
It would just say somewhere in the box,
and it says enhanced for Super Game Boy.
And you would get like for Donkey Kong, you get like it looked like the arcade when you played it. on Super
You
Game
got
Boy.
a nice border, and
Overlay.
it added a little bit of animation to it.
Oh, it
too.
did?
It's one of the few games that really took advantage of the Super Game Boy and did some cool stuff.
Ian's got to consult on maybe the certain Game Boy guidebook.
Certain Game Boy guide.
That's the Super Nintendo one's not even out yet. But
I would like to state that if go for it.
no, go. But I was gonna because as I keep going back and forth, not to make it about book stuff, but Game Boy intrigues me more and more because of the library versus N64. If I was good.
Game Boy libraries.
The N64 library is trash. We know that.
Game
mostly.
Boy library is wide and beautiful.
And I don't think people want to learn about the 45 racing games on the N64. I don't think there's an interest in there. I just don't.
I think people's desire for an N64 guidebook comes down to they want to read someone else talk nicely about the 25 games that they also like.
But nothing about
and
race.
nothing. I mean, because no one cares about all the racing games.
No one cares about the sports games.
Yeah.
No one cares about, what was it, NBA in the Zone or whatever it was.
Mike Piazza's Strike Zone.
Like Piazza. Don't make fun of my Mikey.
So, if you like Game Boy, I do a Game Boy thing with my friend Rick. Check out at Yokoi Kids, YOKOI KIDS, and play some Game Boy games with us. Celebrate its birthday.
All right, so here's the 30 years of the Game Boy, and Pat never having one as a kid. Sad, isn't it?
It's about to be like you don't have one now.
No, I have a bucket of them now.
A bucket.
A bucket, but now you can play them on the SP and you're good to go. Or on the no, you can't do it on the micro, right? You can't play them on the micro.
No, you can only do GBA on the micro.
GBA's right. I don't like the micro. It's too micro. SP's fine. Grab yourself an SP or one of the third-party ones out there. Celebrate that while Pat was playing Ninja Gaiden on his LCD Tiger and getting sick in the car.
I didn't have that one, but I had Batman, and they were the exact same game, just different graphics.
They just swapped them out.
Yeah.
Is Tiger still making games?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure they are.